Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's get stuck in. I'm away at the moment, which is why I'm using the crummy old laptop. I'll be back tomorrow, so everything will be back as normal. So let's get stuck in. We're just going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the dominance chart. So we'll start with the dominance chart, which on the 4 hourly is heading down towards this 200 exponential moving average. Golden cross basically retest. If you're going to get a bit of a bounce on the dominance chart, it'll be down here, which is just a small fraction away from where we are right now. This could come in the form of a Bitcoin pump. I think it's more likely to come in the form of a pullback on markets, and then we'll get a bounce on this. Don't take away from the fact that this is actually still pretty bullish. Remember, as we've been waiting, and we are now seeing a pullback on the dominance chart from the magical area 58.5% dominance, which is where alt seasons could appear from, even if they're just small. Alt seasons could appear from this area. So I'm kind of still expecting continuation from altcoins to outperform Bitcoin, generally speaking, for a period of weeks and months. But that doesn't mean that Bitcoin can't pull them back and then allow for them to sort of bounce harder. This is what alt seasons are like. Very often the case. Alts continue to move up, outperform Bitcoin. Bitcoin says, I'm going to pull back now. Altcoins pull back even more. Everything bounces together. Altcoins outperform with the bounce. So I think that's what we're looking at right now. I think that's the best way to interpret the overall market, which is that we're in some form of alt season, or should we just say healthy market, right? Or the terminology is so hard, really, because everybody gets triggered and upset no matter how you phrase it. I just think that there's going to be a small period where altcoins outperform Bitcoin. Well, if you want to put a label on it, that's fine. That's all I'm talking about. Some people get upset when I say alt season. Some people get excited when I say it. And let's just say altcoins likely to outperform Bitcoin in the ups and the downs. So let's think about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is exactly the same as it has been since Friday. We're rejecting on the 200 simple moving average, which is a death cross, by the way. So there's a death cross on simple moving averages on the daily. If you're going to get a pullback, it would be fair for it to happen here. And believe it or not, it could even cause a lower low. We could end up back down towards the 50s over the next week or so. So just remember that nothing is clear and cut. Nothing is 100% guaranteed. We are rejecting here. This is what I was saying on the Patreon on Friday. We are rejecting here whether we go up a little bit further or meander throughout the weekend. We are rejecting here. And so if a rejection takes place here on the daily, you'll be looking for a support also on the daily. Depends on your risk tolerance, really. This is what moving averages are all about. Are you happy with going in on the first moving average? If so, that would be the 10 exponential. Support being 61,385 today. If you're looking to see if it can go down a little lower, we've got 60,264. That's your 50 and your 21. Then you've actually got a golden cross on exponentials, which is still in play from when it took place ages ago, and that gives you a figure of 59,500. And if all this gets lost, then actually at that point, yeah, you've got some horizontals on the way down, but we'd probably be looking to make a lower low. And then Captain Hindsight looks back and go, well, it was a death cross retest after all. Death cross retests are where bears short from. It's where dead cat bounces sell at. So actually, maybe in a couple of weeks from now, we'll look back and go, well, actually, that was the more obvious scenario, wasn't it? That causes a lower low. But until we see that, we just be cautious at this major resistance and be optimistic at these major supports. And if we lose them all, then yeah, we wait for a lower. That's all we do. Let's have a look at Ethereum then. So Ethereum, that's the one I'm in. I took part in a nice bid on Ethereum last Tuesday, and so far it's been doing okay. It has outperformed Bitcoin, 17% up from a spot position, and obviously futures positions are more than that. We are also just ever so slightly creeping above the 50 exponential, which is all part of a death cross. There's your simple moving average death cross. There's your exponentials. So here is a resistance. Here is a resistance. Here is a resistance. We are creeping above it right now, which makes it look sort of better than it should. No golden cross, nothing like that on the 4 hourly. So it makes it vulnerable to a pullback here because these aren't, these can hold as supports, but they're unlikely to hold as supports until they make positive crosses. So you'd be looking for a horizontal to hold. To me, we can see that we've got a candle body high here, you've got candle body highs here, you've also got a nice wick here. So we're talking about 2,440, more or less being the horizontal area of support if we're going to forget about the moving averages for now. Until they make a positive cross, they're still sort of bullish because we're above them. They do offer support, but they're not going to be as strong as if we had positive crosses, because a cross on moving averages, even if it's like a 10 versus 21 or a 50 versus 100, 200, yeah, they show strength and continuation of trend and momentum. And so we do have some of these crossing, obviously, but it's not the same. It's not the same as being what I call a rainbow spread, where everything's in the right position. So you'd want to see 10, 20, 50, 200. And at the moment we've got 7, 10, 21, 200, 200, 50, 50. It's not quite the right way round, okay, for a bullish trend. So personally, I think a pullback is required, especially given Bitcoin wants to probably pull back from this area. We know that altcoins will follow Bitcoin if that's the case. We've got stocks opening tomorrow. Obviously, Dixie is bouncing from a support on a weekly. It's the last major support. If you lose it, then yeah, things will get fun. If we bounce from here, then fine. Market's likely to feel the pressure of that. So, yeah, Sunday is the day of rest. It's for me a day to forget about the charts. And if anything happens, whether it's bullish or bearish, I can reassess that on Monday when all the other markets are open and you have the big waves of money flowing through all the markets, and then you can gauge the health or the general weakness or strength, I suppose, of what's going to happen with Bitcoin and crypto, because they are just small nothingness really when it comes to the broader financial environment, which is all still feeling the ripples of that FOMC Fed cut, federal. I can't get my words out. The rate cut from the FOMC. Right, other than that, that's really all there is about it. I'm just going to take a very relaxed approach to it, be cautious around here, be optimistic around the dominance chart, looking for dips to be bought across the board for altcoins, provided Bitcoin can remain above 59,000, we'll call it. If we start closing below 59,000, I would be looking for a lower low, and that would render the potential alt season, alt rally, altcoin gains, whatever you want to call it, less likely until further notice. But yeah, I like the way that this is rejecting, I have to say. It does look good, and it goes to what my broader expectations will be between now and this time next year, which is that we're going to see some big gains over a 12-month period. So long as there's no black swans that kick in, all these little umming and ahhing around, 4 hourly moving averages or whatever, shouldn't really scare you out of a larger, more diverse portfolio, really, which should consistently start to make higher highs, higher lows over a 12-month period. So it's up to you how you go about playing it. Investors, you're on the last, you're on the last portion of the bull run, really, and in 12 months is not a long time to wait for hundreds of percents, which is what the targets generally would be on altcoins, not billions of percent, hundreds of percent. If you're going to complain about a few 100% gains in a 12-month period, that's what I call a first world problem, and you need to relax there because that's actually pretty epic stuff. And not that it's guaranteed, but I just think it's still very, very likely. Right, other than that, I hope you all have a nice day and take it easy.